Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today you're gonna be here in the channel of Somos Mas, but by first time we'll be doing a broadcast in English because, as we were mentioning before, a live show with Lisa Avila, our president. We're finding out that's a huge gap of information and native English speaking community all around the world, especially in the US. But I won't be alone today. Today with me will be the coordinator of the Somos Bus Club here in Atlanta. Well, I said here, not in Atlanta, I'm in Germany, in Texas. And with us today, my dear friend, Riquet Caballero. Hi, my friend, how are you? Riquet, do you hear me? I can hear you. You're not on mute, so perhaps it's the headsets. 1 2 1 2. Do you hear me? Technology is always a shame. Struggling with this kind of stuff. It's always happens. Those are the advantages and the issues with the live show. But no matter, the message will be there anyway. Unmute yourself, please. So while Riquet's able to fix its technical issues, I want to say hi to Karen Alonso. That's one of the first spectators we have. We already have 2 likes and 15 people watching us, and we are just 2 minutes of broadcast. So let's see. 1 2 1 2. Riquet, unmute yourself, please. Sometimes the most powerful tools. Now you hear me, but unmute yourself. I cannot hear you. One two
Can
one
you?
two. Oh, okay, I can hear you.
We're good. We're excellent. How you doing, boss?
Great. What about boss? I'm just a stupid guy. We're
this
doing with the camera. Are you kidding
is
me?
how. Hey, man. I moved to Atlanta, so this is how we talk out here. I'm in the South now, man.
Riquet, it's a pleasure to have you here. And my first question to you, it's who's Riquet Caballero? What's Riquet Caballero doing? Why Cuban Libertarian? So introduce yourself, please.
All right. So my actual name is Riquet Caballero. You gotta roll the R. I'm from Cuba, Santiago de Cuba. I came to the United States in 1998. My dad was actually part of the rafter exile in the 90s.
Ooh.
He went to Guantanamo Bay. He had to escape the island, in the middle of the night on a boat, because he was a doctor. And back then, doctors were not allowed to leave Cuba, right? They were kind of indentured servants, if you want to think about it. And after he came to the United States as a political refugee, he then brought my mother and I and us over as his family, right? As also political refugees. So then I grew up in Miami, and then recently, less than a year and 6 months ago, I moved to Atlanta. So what I do professionally is I do cybersecurity compliance assessments. Uh, Really, it's called vendor risk management. And when it comes to the Cuban libertarian situation, that's my YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm pretty. I wouldn't say a hardcore libertarian. I'm more of a conservative or a paleo libertarian. But yes, I do not enjoy the state. I do not enjoy government, unless it's a just and a very small government, because of my experience in Cuba and then the effery that I have seen here in the United States.
It's a little understand to you, and sometimes people says, "Okay, you're not a real libertarian, you're not bench freer or something like that." But in some point, it's like, man, my problems with the states, it's not the approach that the people have. It's about like, what the hell? my experience with the government has been so awful that I don't want to give nobody else the risk or the chance to make the same mistakes.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's why I have to choose the ideas that didn't work. I have a lot of ideas that are working pretty good. So I should try something else, not the same mistakes that somebody else made. And I was also mentioning 2 days ago that there's some people who said, okay, what happened in the Russia was a mistake, and China was a mistake, and Cuba was a mistake. The problem is they're not smart enough to put it to work in the proper way.
Right.
And with the current experience, I'm in Germany. We have a joke. It's if not even the Germans were able to make the socialism work, well, you have to try yourself. It's not a good idea. Okay, but well, I want to talk to you about a few topics, not that more.
Mhm.
But I want to focus the thing in one point. It's about, man, the people are complaining too much about the social networks and the bad effects of the social network brings to the table. But I think we can do smart things with it. We can talk to a lot of people, and we can put the dictatorship in Cuba in a hard position all around the world, showing us our truth. What's your gaps about it? What do you think about it?
Okay. I've seen that over here, especially from Black Americans or African Americans, meaning people from Africa that live here. Because remember, Fidel, he did a lot of campaigns in Africa, right? You know, he and Mandela were kind of close, and then he went into Angola and where did he go? Like DRC, the Congo, sometime, and maybe I think he
Ethiopia, Angola.
Ethiopia. Yeah, I think even he knew Gaddafi as well. So a lot of African Americans and Black Americans they think that Fidel Castro is like, oh my God, he's the best. He was on the side of the little guy, helped us with the independence from the colonizers, blah blah blah. They don't realize that the reason Africa is still poor is because of socialism, just like India and all these other places. And there's the other side, which is even some Republicans, they still say, oh, I want to go to Cuba before it changes. And I'm thinking,
Like we were a zoo, and then you're watching animals there. It's like,
they want to
come
go
on,
to
come on.
Jurassic Park. You know, they see the old ass Jurassic cars, the Jurassic buildings. Even
It's
our population is aged. I think it's like 60% over 60. And then like very few young people. People are not having babies. So yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
want to.
the problem with that, excuse me to interrupt you, Richard. My approach it's like, man, are you telling me that what are we? Are we cartoons? Are we museums?
Yeah,
No, we're
yeah.
human beings. That's what the
Yeah,
hell.
it's like going to see like the sideshow, right? In a circus, you know, the guy, the lady with the beard, and the guy with the tattoos. You know, that's what we are. We're like I don't know. It's a freak show. That's what it is. Yeah, they want to go see the freak show before it all changes and becomes capitalist and normal. And there's like a McDonald's and a Starbucks in every corner. Oh, it's so quaint. Oh my God, look at the guy with the busy taxi and he has like 4 degrees. Or like, oh my God, look at that, jinetera. Look at that whore and she has like 2 degrees and she's a nurse. Look at her, selling her body. It's amazing. It's like, no, it's not. It's awful. What are you doing?
It's like a little bit of what the hell are you having in your mind? Well,
Hmm.
are you thinking the human beings are there because they love to? No, they're doing what they are doing because they have to survive, and there's
Yes,
nothing
sir.
else.
That's correct, my
Um,
friend.
but we can. I also want to mention that we were mostly knowing about you a few days ago because you have been into certain experiences, and I want you to explain us what happened to you in Taco Max and what the hell was that, man?
All right. So I live a little bit north of the downtown Atlanta, and I'm also part of the Atlanta Young Republicans, which is an organization that helps, Republican campaigns. We have debates and meetings where we discuss different topics, different laws, etc. Correct? So last week we were having a panel discussion on policing, right? And we had one of our state senators there, we had a public defender there, and we have a former police chief and criminologist there. So, right, those were the experts, and then there was a a list of questions that we had prepared, and they were going back and forth amongst themselves. The audience was still not participating. It was just amongst themselves, and they were debating back and forth. Even like the public defender was actually more libertarian but still Republican, right? So she, for example, was saying, okay, we need to end the drug war so we don't have all these unnecessary arrests or unnecessary encounters with the police, unnecessary amount of people in jail just because of a little bag of weed. In Amsterdam and other places it's legal, or Colorado, right? Then you had, the senator saying yes, but education starts at the home, and you can get rid of all the laws that you want, but if you go to somebody's house and they have a little ounce of weed, but the kids don't have a bed to sleep in, they're sleeping on a coffee table and there's roaches everywhere. He said that he saw that when he was a police officer. It doesn't matter that they're not committing a violent crime. Sometimes people that do drugs, then it's just a symptom of like they're not having like a really good life you know uh, so it depends on the family, the culture. It's about how you behave. No one ever said anything black people. Nobody ever said anything about, oh no, those people over there. They were very professional. They're professional people, right? So they're not gonna say
And
this
experts
race
on
or
the
that
field.
race. Exactly. So all very polite and everything. So then a server comes and tells our president, that was the moderator, that we had to stop the discussion because
What?
supposedly another customer in the restaurant was offended, right? Um, so we stopped the discussion, even though we booked it weeks in advance, right? We booked the space with the microphone and everything. And then I I was pissed. So I refused to pay, right? So then this is funny. They called the police on me because I
Oh
refused to pay,
yeah.
right? It's
Are you
ironic.
kidding me? You're complaining because we're talking about the police, but then you cut the police.
Of course, that's it's you see these what I believe happened is that the manager didn't like our discussion at all, because she didn't put us in the private area where we usually have our meetings. She put us in
So
the patio.
hold it there. Hold it there.
Okay.
It's not the first time you were in that place. It's not the first time you're booking a place there. It's not the first time. So I may assume, perhaps, correct me if I'm wrong, that do you know how the things works when this is in a regular way, and how was it at this time? So, did you
Definitely,
feel any difference?
definitely. Yeah, the when I walked in, I saw that they had put us outside, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, maybe there's another meeting in the private area, and that's why they put us in the patio. But now looking back in retrospect, I think that they put us in the public area so they could have the excuse to say that somebody back there was offended. And after I paid my bill, we were still hanging around talking, and then the manager said, okay, you need to vacate the premises for no reason, right? Just go, we don't want you here anymore. So that's when we actually had to leave the restaurant because it's private property. But like you saw in my Facebook, I made a couple of live videos, very pissed because in America right now, there is something called cancel culture, where if you have a different opinion, meaning if you like Trump, if you are a conservative, if you don't think that every white person is a Hitler,
Evil
then
and racist and everything
right,
together.
right, right. If you don't believe in systemic racism or any of this BS, then you are persona non grata, and they can do whatever they want to you. You can get fired. They can hit you. They can take your food. They can vandalize your property, etc. They can beat you up. People have been killed in the street for wearing a hat. So I was super pissed, and I said no. I had to protest in some way. So that's pretty much what happened. That's what you saw. And boycott Taco Mac, all right, because it's not right. We've been going to that restaurant for more than a year, having our meetings there, and now these people think that they can get away with it, and they can't.
It's a shame.
Yeah, man.
My dear friend, but the core topic of this it's the approach that we have about the struggling against the government, the Cuban government or the Cuban dictatorship. I won't make a difference in the semantics here because government is who governs, who rules a world, who rules a country, and at some point we should be aware of that. No matter if it's in a democratic way or in a dictatorship way. I won't get into a semantical discussion here, especially because no one of us is a linguistic. And on those terms, what do you think? What's the effects of this, let's say, new wave of Cuban people talking on social networks against the Cuban government? And we may mention a lot of names, perhaps Otaola, perhaps Carlito Madrid, Eliezer Avila, uh, a bunch of people, more than 10, 12, and a lot of them with a lot of public listening and understanding what they're speaking about. What do you think about it?
That is very, very interesting that you asked that question because recently I attended. Oh my God, we were both there. That the fighting blockades and COVID-19, why U.S.
Uh,
sanctions in Latin America must
excellent.
end. Hold on, let me see if I can actually share the little like logo with the screen with the audience. This thing right here. So yeah, look at that beautiful. Oh my God. So
It's
this,
insane.
let me tell you guys, this was an event where Christine Blower, Labor member of the House of Lords in the UK and a former General Secretary of the National Union of Teachers. Okay, where Adam Chavez Frias, that's right, Hugo Chavez's brother was a panelist, and the not the Cuban ambassador because she was sick, but Julio Pujol, which is the chief of the mission of Cuba in the UK, was also a panelist. And the person that I want to refer to specifically for this question is Sophia Clark, which is a Nicaraguan, a Master of International Law, and she teaches in National Autonomous University of Nicaragua. Sophia Clark said, and I'm paraphrasing, that they were having trouble with their propaganda in Nicaragua because people were posting too many fake news about Nicaragua, basically showing how the government was killing people in Nicaragua. And she said, "Oh, like our work is being affected by all these fake news, online, on in social media." And so I want to get back to your question, and that is that social networks right now, like the Egyptian, the Arab Spring, they're really helping our cause. I mean, Otaola is single-handedly turning the Cuban vote while activating it and then recruiting people to number one, fight the Cuban dictatorship and just basically um, show that what they say is lies, is showing us outside the truth, is galvanizing us outside and making us proud again to be Cuban, shaming us a little bit as well, so that we,
Oh,
yeah, so that we pick up, the excuse me, metaphorical machete, right? So we get back to our roots, our Mambi roots, and it's also showing the people inside of Cuba, hey, you don't have to live this way. This is how we live here. This is how you're living there. Why are you living that way? Why? Stand up for yourself. Go outside. Protest. What does he say? Calienta la cola. Uh, so basically, protest while you're queuing up to receive your rations, right? Um, he has, I mean, he has basically woken up the conscience of Cubans outside of the island, like in
but
where we
also
live,
inside.
and the conscience of the people inside. He tells them, Aren't you tired of living this way? How much longer are you going to live this way? Look at what they do to your family. Look at how they treat your kids. Look how they treat black people in Cuba. You protest when the government tells you in Cuba, oh, look at in America, Black Lives Matter. But when the police kills black people in Cuba indiscriminately, you don't say anything. You know more about how do you say United States politics than you know
You
about
know more
Cuban
about
politics.
foreign politics than about your interests. And I will take your argument back and says, man, how the hell someone that has all the communication media in a country is so afraid about the Cuban situation that's calling all around the world. This lady that we were talking about a few minutes ago, it's a member of the Chamber of Lords in UK. By first, second, they are putting time and effort paying people to broadcast its message on social networks, but not even with arguments. It's this reporting the post that they don't like it or they don't broadcast the same message. They are faking uh, Twitter tendencies, and with those kind of stuff, Twitter has been calling them to the action and saying them, please don't continue doing that. They have been complaining a lot about what Twitter have been doing with the official Twitter accounts for the Cuban government, saying that what you're doing is not allowed. You're faking the statistics. You're broadcasting the same message through the same IP addresses. So it seems to me like a lot of fake profiles broadcasting the same message. So at some point we need to stop this. And what the example you mentioned about Otaola, and Otaola first of all is a regular influencer, so he has a lot of supporters, but also a lot of haters.
Hmm.
And in that point, makes me to believe that it's relevant because nobody is saying, I don't care, Otaola.
Right.
You love her or you hate him,
Mhm.
but there's no way to say, I don't care. Because the message of Otaola is super interesting, and I want to put my statement there. There was a lot of people complaining about the Otaola message and it's dividing people. First of all, if you say Otaola is dividing people, you're forgetting the first part of the story. The Cubans are divided since they were a country. And we're talking not about 10, 12 years, even before the dictatorship. I'm talking about 1868.
Hmm.
I'm talking about that was the first goal of our national hero, Jose Marti, in the fights for freedom from the colony of Spain on this kind of stuff. And the Cubans are the same from there to now. And what Otaola is saying, it's what I call the mirror effect. Sometimes the people are not prepared to see their own reflect. What Otaola is normally saying is, okay, that's what you are. Those are your problems. Those are your issues. What you gonna do about it? Are you waiting that somebody else does the magic for you, or are you prepared to take actions on this? It's super important to show the Cubans there's another way of life. I'm not saying the American way of life because I have never been in America. I've never been uh, in that approach of what the hell the people believes it will be Cuba when it becomes a capitalist country, hopefully soon. And by last, it's there's this species of not even discussable sentence about okay, if Cuba becomes capitalist, it will be like the worst possible capitalist, the capitalism from Honduras, El Salvador, Central America. But man, nowadays, there's a lot of Cubans immigrating already to those countries.
That's right. That's right.
So
There's
you're
people in
changing,
Haiti.
you're
Hey,
changing, you're
Haiti, which is
changing me,
go ahead.
you're changing me something that I want to change by myself because I'm going to those places. There's a Cuban joke about uh, There are Cuban people trying to take a plane, but in the public announcement system, they say, excuse us, please don't take this plane will fall down. And the Cubans in the line saying, we don't care when it falls down, it's good enough.
That's funny. But I know people that go to Haiti to buy, food, clothes, use like secondhand clothes in Haiti to sell in Cuba. I know people that have just moved to Haiti completely to live there with all the poverty, all the violent protests, all the problems that Haiti has. I mean, you know what all those countries in Central America have that Cuba doesn't have? Carne asada, food, cheese. It could be like, the most violent with all the gangs in the world, but they have a market, a capitalist market where you can buy food. In Cuba, with money, sometimes there's no food.
No,
Okay.
it's
For
the
no
opposite
reason.
way around. Again, it's in the opposite way around. Sometimes there's food.
So that's right. Sometimes there is food. Like, people don't realize that in Cuba the government is in charge of all the supermarkets. Let me repeat that again. In Cuba, all the supermarkets are owned by the government. So they manage, or let's say they mismanage, the supply of goods and services.
And the
Sometimes you,
worst thing is that you don't have even the chance of changing those wrong managers to choose
mm,
somebody else that perhaps can manage the things in a better way. No, they're bad managers. They have been there trying all possible stuff by 60 years. There's no position that can say in the parliament or in the Congress something like, oh, please do this in this way or the other way around. And there's still people trying to tell me that I went there. I was born and raised in Cuba, telling me, okay, it's imperialism. Guys, you have no clue what you're talking about. And
yeah, man.
please let me make a statement. It's not the same to go a country with a bucket of dollars or euros or wherever to make tourism than to live there. It's a different story. Because first of all, you have real money where you can buy real stuff. But when you have monopoly bills, it's useless. You can do nothing with that. And the worst thing is that's the way the government pays your salary.
Yeah,
Let me rephrase that.
do it.
No matter what the hell you do, the only income you will receive is in the money that it's the 25th part of the real money you can buy stuff.
That's correct.
Imagine that all of us are complaining when the government here raises the taxes for 1% or 0.1%, and this kind of stuff triggers a lot of demonstrations all around the world saying, okay, this government is killing us and is stealing our money from our pockets. No, man, they are charging the Cubans for miserable salaries.
Yeah.
And then, if the base amount of money is short, what about if I take you 25th part of that? You have nothing to live about.
But
And
wait,
on
Omarito.
top of that, there are people trying to defend that position.
But wait, because the Cuban doctors owe the government for their education. That's why they get paid
No, no, no.
10% of
All
the
the Cuban professionals,
all the
especially
Cuban
doctors,
professionals. That's right. That's right. They have a free education. Okay,
free
free
education.
free college education. So that's why they
Yeah,
earn
okay.
$25 a month, or the special ones, right? The
Mhm.
bootlickers that want to have a better life, and they go to Venezuela, they go to other countries to work as part of a contract with other countries, and they only get like what, 10% of that what that country pays the Cuban government. And not
Mhm.
only that, they don't get it while they're in that country. They get it when they come back to Cuba, because they they cannot stay in that country. They cannot bring their family to visit them in their country. They cannot visit their family either. They have to wait, finish their what they call their mission, and then they go back to Cuba, and they don't even get the money in that country's currency, dollars or lira or pounds. They get it back in the Cuba monopoly money when they
Do
come
you
back to
remember?
Cuba.
No, and it's even worse. You don't get the money in cash. You just receive like a debit card, and this debit card, they say, okay, we claim this is it has a special 30% discount in all of the stores. But
Right.
the problem is that debit card has no value outside of the country. So it's not like I have 600 or a million or $200 in this card. No, it's 200 monopoly papers to
Yeah,
buy in a specific stores with specific kind of products, and your choices are between that or nothing.
for sure.
But
It's like
on top of that, believe me, there's even worse stuff. What
okay.
happened with those doctors when they broke up that contract? They're forbidden to go to its country for, be careful, 8 years. 8 years.
Yep. If they
How,
have
how the hell? I have been discussing this with attorneys all around the world, and what they mentioned is this is absolutely illegal. It's absolutely illegal because there's no possibility to put in a contract a clause that compels your civil rights. So we can make a contract about what we will do if I sell you this bottle of water, but the options cannot take in consideration that your civil rights, your human rights, are compromised.
yeah, of
That's out
course.
of the equation.
No, yeah, that they totally your freedom of movement, right? You cannot visit your family if you have a 1 year old kid and you decide to, you know what, I don't want to work for the Cuban government anymore, then you cannot see that kid for 8 years. So the next time you see your child, they're 9 years old, or you have an old parent and they die in those 8 years. Well, you cannot even bury them. That's it. That's what happened with
It's
my dad when he was a doctor and they wouldn't let him in. It wasn't the 8 years thing. He wasn't in a mission, but because he deserted, right? He escaped the island. Both his parents died, and he was not able to bury them. You know, people don't realize what's happening in this country. It's insane. And yeah, those cards, it's like Disney dollars, or like when you go to Dave and Buster's for the Americans, you go to an arcade and you buy a card to play the games. Well, you cannot use that card outside of the arcade. It's the same, but it's for people's salaries.
and for food, for
Yes.
first needed supplies. We're not talking about like a luxury or this kind of things. We're talking about things that, and also let me make this point clear. Those products are in those stores and in any other place because the government takes the control of all the important stuff. So you're not allowed to, let's say, go for Amazon or go for an external importing company and says, I will pay the fee in customs and receive the things for me. That's not going to happen. That's not allowed.
Not at all. At
And
all. At all.
it's absolutely insane. I may understand that someone that's not from Cuba has never been in this situation can imagine this is like a bad horror movie, but believe me, those are the conditions where a lot of Cubans are living nowadays. Riquet, and go back to the social networks topic.
Hmm.
A few days ago, we were discussing about the social dilemma,
Mhm.
uh, and this new film from Netflix. And there's a lot of people complaining about the message and the things, but I prefer to talk here about the bubbles that social media makes us.
Mhm.
I assume that there's no bad people in US that believes that the Cuban government's a good stuff and this kind of things. What
Mhm.
I see there, it's people that are inside of its own bubble
Yep.
saying the same message once again and again and again, and they believe that's the reality. But what that documentary was showing us is that that's the algorithm of Facebook that implies the idea of the way of they. So its goal is not to show us the real world. Its goal is you to stay more time in the social network, showing you more advertisement and getting money for that. And then you prefer to watch videos or see posts about ideas that seems to be more or less similar than yours, and the people are believing a lot of stuff, taking as a base of knowledge Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and they don't see that those algorithms are lying them or not lying them, and they're showing the best interest of the company and not the best interest of the information and the quality information for each one of them. What do you believe about it? Because
That's
that's what I think is happening in the American universities, but I have never been there, so I want your honest opinion. Why there's so that amount of people believing the lies of the Cuban government day by
mm,
day, trying to say this is the best thing, but they're following Antifa, they're following a lot of pages about the Democrats, they're following Michael Moore, they are following this kind of, and it's not only following, it's also a like that you gave, a few minutes that you stay watching the same video. All of that is an input for the Facebook algorithm, and they makes you a picture of the world that doesn't represent the realistic information. It's just what they want you to believe, and that's called the confirmation gossip. You want to hear and listen things that confirms the approach that you have about the world. But excuse me, I was speaking too much. What about you? What do you think about it?
Omarito, I agree with you. Something interesting happened last night. I was out at a bar, and this black lady, she had a "Make America Great Again" hat. Of course, you're in
Mhm.
Atlanta, you're going to invite commentary, comments from people. But like this other man that was there, he starts to just basically harass her. And you know, in the beginning, she was like, "No, I support him because one, two, three," and but the man became so emotional and illogical that she said, "Okay, whatever. This conversation is over. Leave me alone." And then he just kept going. No, because this, because of that. He's a racist. How can you support him? You're you're black or black this, black that. I'm rich.
Mhm.
I don't like him.
Because
Taxes, like
being black is a political position.
exactly. No, that's the thing, right? In America, when you're black, you're not just a person that has some African ancestry or you have a permanent tan. Like I say, no. When you're black, it comes with like a whole bunch of baggage. You have to think a certain way, dress a certain way, eat a certain food, etc., etc. And what I saw in that moment was this person is possessed by ideology. This person cannot think
Think by
logically,
themselves.
critically by themselves. and and that is something that has happened, um, not just because of social media, but it has greatly been helped by social media. The biases that people already had, they've basically been concentrated in these bubbles, feeding on itself, growing, just becoming more like just taking over people's lives. Documentary, it was really good because it actually, if it scared me a little bit because I cannot
Yeah,
let go of this thing. And then you get a notification, oh, somebody liked your comment, somebody commented about your post, or look at this new post. And what I see is something that I think social media companies may be doing, and I think it's because maybe they don't do it specifically with a plan, although I think some of the executives may have a plan, but that is that they are nudging. Nudging is, to give you the definition, is to touch or push gently. You know, it's like nudge, nudge, nudge. And so when you create, by the nature of the social media, right, you get together with people that think like you like these things, and you create a natural echo chamber. Okay, but if then the company that owns that echo chamber where you're in thinks a certain way, they start to push you. They show you what they want you to see, and then they hide what they don't want you to know. So they gently, without you knowing, push you a
that's
certain
important point.
direction.
Yeah, because the point is one of the hardest secrets they have It's about not telling anybody how that algorithm works. All that
Hmm.
we know, it's about inverse engineering. It's reverse engineering, trying to assume, okay, what I'm getting this and what I'm getting that. The algorithm is a black box,
Yep.
and imposed by artificial intelligence. So not even them knows why sometimes the algorithm is doing what they're doing and why it's showing one thing and not the other thing. My point with this, it's the risk it presents us when you're not conscious of this.
Oh
When
yeah.
you're not when you know, okay, this is not the press, this is not regulated or not
Right.
regulated in the proper way. But I want to make a point also about what you mentioned before, if the CEOs of the managers of those companies knows or not. I have axiom about the Occam's shaver. Occam's shaver says that a shave can be good or bad, depends how you use it. You
Okay.
can shave yourself, or you can kill somebody with that.
Hmm.
So it's a matter of the proper use. And to use properly a social network, you need to understand how it works. Otherwise, you're just a pawn in this huge chess game,
Yeah.
and you have no control what's going on there. So my first position and my first idea to everybody is to understand first what's the mission of Facebook, what's the
Hmm.
mission of Google, and believe me, the mission is not to show you the real world.
Nope.
Its mission is to increase their benefits.
Yes. Make money off of your attention.
There's no way that people want to see that. But also, there's a lot of people that lives completely happy on its own bubble,
Yeah.
and we're no one to want to push them out. The
Right.
freedom, it's the freedom of doing even the wrong things.
Yep.
If you want to believe that the real world is that, and the
The world.
earth the earth
The
is
earth is
plain,
flat.
and if you want to believe the vaccines are evil, and if you want to believe the stupidity about microchips and vaccines about COVID-19, your choice, man. Nobody's allowed to push you out of that. But if you want to kick out of there, please, you need the tools. You need the knowledge. You need to
Yeah.
understand how the machine works. Otherwise, you won't be able to hack it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for myself, I only use Facebook for this battle. I stopped really posting personal things there.
Mhm.
I use Instagram for when I go out. I'll be honest, is to post pictures so that girls like, because
No,
that now you gotta have your
10
Instagram on
points of
point,
honesty there.
right? So
10 points of honesty.
they are tools for a specific purpose. Facebook is for fighting Cuba and dictatorship. Instagram is to get girls. Twitter is to fight with people over political issues and follow news. And let me see, I don't use Snapchat because I'm not five, I'm not a 19-year-old girl. And that's
Please
pretty much it, man.
don't tell me you use TikTok.
No, I'm not a Chinese robot, so I don't
Ah,
use
okay,
TikTok. If
good
you
to
are
you,
on
good to you.
TikTok, you are being brainwashed by the Chinese government, and they know everything that's on your phone. Delete that
Believe
shit.
me, it's is it like you have to choose between being part of the machinery of all the California stuff, all of the Silicon Valley stuff, or you can choose being in the side of the Chinese government. Believe
Right.
me, you don't.
Yeah.
We still love to walk us or dogs. We don't want to eat them.
Right. And like
So,
whatchamacallit? Um and even then, Instagram sometimes gets me with their advertisements. They're really good, man. I gotta tell you. If you wanna sell something, Instagram is the best.
but my point is, it's not about because I'm a software developer, I'm a software analyst, I'm an entrepreneur in the social media also, but it's not about being out of social network because that's not realistic. Our youth, it's made for that, has been developing its life in interactions, in loving, breaking up. All of them happening on social networks. So ask them, please get out of social networks. It's out of the equation. But use it wisely
Yep.
is the way of doing the stuff. Understanding which are the risks, understanding that's not the real world, understanding that there was a life even before Facebook,
Yep.
and by ends, it's like trying to show that's a proper tool, but with the okay and shaver, use it wisely.
Yes, sir.
We can't.
Agreed.
There's not that much people, but some of them has been asking us to interact with us. What do you think if we share the link and we hear somebody else's opinions?
110%, my friend. Let's do it.
Okay, give me a second. So, my friend Jasmani Puga from Turkey was asking for this. He wants to talk with us. And here we are sending. Oh, Lachi is also helping us broadcasting the link. So if you want to interact with us, that's the point, that's moment. Please just click there, and we will be waiting for you and receiving our opinions. Fania is our friend from Canada. So Fania, please come up. Please don't talk in French. My French is not that good, but we are even allowing people to speak not in the very best English. We're not even okay. Fanny is mentioning this idea. It's absolutely okay with me. Saying, let me show this. She's calling to somebody else to do the same, but in French. My point is the first time we're doing this in English, and for me, it's been a terrifying experience because
Yeah.
I'm absolutely shocked about speaking that long time in English. And I don't know if it's risky or not, but also somebody was asking us why doing in English. We are doing in English because the market of English speaking is not even allowing us to get there. And Otaola, Eliezer, and other influencers in Cuba are only doing the message for the Cuban market. But I think this is not a single country issue. It's a risk for all around the world, and we have to care that to do that to broadcast our message even more. That's to do it in foreign languages, English, French, whatever else. I will try
Right.
to do the same in German also.
Oh, well, I wish I could participate. I think German's pretty cool. Um, yeah.
Okay,
the
it's like speaking. It's like speaking English, but with a potato in the mouth.
With a potato in your mouth. That's funny. No, man. The thing about doing these things in English is that you're definitely gonna reach a lot of natural allies that the Cuban people have, but that don't know our struggle. So, for example, we will be able to connect with the libertarians, with the conservatives, with the human rights, fighters all around the world that know English. They don't have to be in an English-speaking country, but because English is such a popular language, to do business and science around the world, and because popular culture, Hollywood is everywhere. So most countries have a significant English-speaking population. So we'll be able to reach them, globally. People that maybe they're not into politics. Maybe they just love Cuba, but they didn't know this side of Cuba, right? So that's the whole point of doing this. We, like you said, we have a ton of people doing this in Spanish every day. I mean, it's a lot of influencers that we have in Spanish. But now we're going global, baby. We're going international, and this is how we
And
do it.
yeah, and to me, it's also the target of university guys that are surrounded by professors that claims, okay, socialism is good, the Republicans are blah blah blah, and in some point we need to send our message also, not against no one, but being able to say our truth. I'm not a political expert. I don't have a PhD about politics. But what I'm saying is what happened to me. You're mentioning what happened to your father. There's no way that someone can refuse that because those are not arguments that are even open to discussion. Those
Yep.
arguments are uh, pretty obvious, and uh, you cannot be against that. Lázaro Mireles, our coordinator in Spain, is with us. So, Lachi, do you want to participate with us? Tell me yes. Okay, he wants to come with
Yes,
us.
yes.
Hi,
Hello,
my
guys.
dear friend. How are you?
Hello, I am fine, thanks. I just want to say that this was a great idea, and you need to try to repeat again with another theme or something like that. That was fantastic.
No,
Well,
Lachi, la estás tirando en inglés. You're speaking English, my friend. That's awesome, bro.
I try not to remember, not to forget my English, but
That's
I
excellent,
prefer
dude.
to do something with Omar in Deutsch.
Oh,
wir müssen
oh
es
my
machen
God.
in Deutsch auch.
Wir müssen was machen, yeah, of course.
Okay, these guys just went over my head. Guten Tag, wie geht's? That's it. No more.
I
Believe
think,
me,
I think
that's
also,
those are 20 words more than I knew when I came
Right?
here.
No,
I
I
think
had to get Duolingo.
I think
My
also
God.
we are a lot million of Cuban people around the world. The Cuban people need to try to do something like that in different language. That is a good idea. We need to try to talk our realities with the people with our society in different countries. I
That's
think
true, my friend. Yeah, we're like the Jewish people of the Caribbean. We're everywhere.
here
And
in
when
English,
you say everywhere,
España,
means everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. No, I mean we
España.
have somebody in Czech Republic. We have people in Israel too. I mean, and that's what's funny too is that we like to wear gold chains like the Israelis do as well.
Yeah.
No,
That's funny.
Eliezer was mentioning it's in one of his past shows was uh, the truth behind the success, and there was a Cuban guy trying to sell, I don't know, renting camels all around the desert. We were Cubans that were fishing in Alaska. We have people doing smart, amazing stuff in Singapore, doing great things in Australia. So in China, we also have a community of Cuban people that were, it connects to the past topics we were talking about. There are people that went to China to work and they finally decided to stay there. How bad is the Cuban situation that someone takes to decide to change one dictatorship with for another dictatorship?
Yeah, man.
Because my dictatorship, it's a mistake. Um, and the last thing I want to say about this, it's man, the immigrants never makes mistakes. If someone is taking the risk of putting its life on deputy, there's nothing else you can say about these people. Nobody immigrates from a better country to a worse country without a reason.
That's
So
correct.
Yeah,
you have to check all your thoughts before complaining or before criticize those people. Perhaps there's things you don't know. Perhaps there are realities that you don't control, but super easy to say whatever you want about this. There are a lot of people saying us they want to participate. I will
Yeah,
send
let
them
him
the
in.
link
okay,
one more time.
they say I just want to say, Omar, that a lot of people say that the immigration of Cuba is product of economical situation or something like that. Back of this economical situation, there is always political situation. So people need to think about that also.
Yeah, because what the people says is, I don't care politics. You don't care
Yeah.
politics, but politics cares about you. And in
You are
that
in this
situation,
situation because
and
political situation in your country. That's it.
and the, and the political situation, it's also who push us to make those tough decisions. Oh, here we have
Hello, Maria.
Bonjour.
Welcome.
Bonjour.
Allô.
This is our friend Fanny
Je vais parler en
Aurito
Welcome,
from
français.
Fania.
Canada.
No.
They
Queremos escuchar tu inglés de
Oi.
amigo.
English. Yeah, English,
My
English.
English is not very good looking.
For the English-speaking people, they don't get this joke because it was a sentence made by Celia Cruz. It was one of our most famous singers, and she was living alive in the U.S., but its English never improved that much, and that's where the sentence comes from.
Yeah.
So
That's correct.
Fania was yesterday. Fania and Estrella they was yesterday in a conference, feminist conference for the women's rights or something like that in Canada online. But was participating the consul of Cuba, the Bilbao, this woman. That was ein chaos. Tell us, Fania.
Yeah, I don't speak English. I want to try. Yes, yesterday. Yesterday was
Mhm.
Keep going. Ale.
a conference. A conference because ¿cómo se dice mes? Than this
Month.
month here in Canada we have ¡Hola, Alba! Sálvame, sálvame. Yeah. And this month here in Canada we have a month the Latins. The people speak Spanish or Latin people, something
Or
like
like
that.
Latin, like Hispanic history or Latin history month. Like they celebrate.
Errands.
Okay.
Yeah, they celebrate errands, something like that. But yesterday we have the conference for the women's, and
Okay.
we was very very angry because the consul Mara Bilboa Diaz was the representative, the women representative yesterday, and
Right.
all the Cuban community
Yeah.
here and around the world because we received the support the all the people, the Cuban people all around the world, and they write the comment at the Facebook page, Heritage Hispanic Quebec, and
Uh-huh.
the administration, the page, de la página,
Hal page.
the page eliminate all the commentary negative.
Okay.
And
So
this,
right.
yeah, and
They
this is
eliminated all the
very,
negative comments in the
yeah,
Quebec Hispanic Heritage page on Facebook.
The Cuban
yeah,
Okay.
and this is the very we was most insulted, angry because in Canada we was a freedom, no? Then I don't understand who these people can eliminate our expression of it's not possible, it's not good. I don't know,
Right.
my English is not very good looking, but
Oh yeah,
No,
we
but
uh,
we
understand you.
understood.
I think,
todos
I
nos
think
enojamos mucho, todos nos
Fania,
enojamos mucho.
I
Yes.
think
You.
the first point is why is part of this conference this woman, because in Cuba there is no right for the woman people,
Yeah.
for the woman. Why is part of this conference this woman, this Bilbao part of the Cuban embassy, part of the Cuban government cupola or something like that? Why? So
Right.
Alba lo podrá decir mejor para que ella sí hable inglés.
Alba, how are you?
Very good. And yourself? How you guys doing?
Good.
I,
Good. Okay, you guys can hear me. Actually, I'm super excited. When I woke up this morning and I saw this going on, I was like, oh my God, this is what we all need this. Okay, I mean, and it's not only for the Cubans. I'm from Venezuela, but I support the Cuban cause because to me, it is the cause of the destruction of Venezuela. So if in 20 years, it took 21 years for these people to be infiltrated in my country, which you could see, and there's the actual information coming in from Venezuela, indicating the infiltration. So how come if it destroyed Venezuela for 21 years, imagine Cuba now 61 years. Cuba is falling apart. Cuba is falling apart. And to me, what I don't understand, and this goes for the Canadian government, okay? What I don't understand, when you look, and this is, bless you, when you look, like say you go into the Canadian Service Canada, which is the governmental page, to which in Google you can actually look for the information yourself, okay? And then you look, one day I was like, you know what, I don't understand why Canada is so quiet about what's going on in Cuba. So I went to correct. So I went on Google, I was like, okay, relationship between Canada and Venezuela. When the page is open, and I invite you guys to look for it, okay? It says, oh my God, the crisis in Venezuela. Canada supports all the freedom and the human rights and going on and on and on and on. So I was like, okay, so let me see what they do have to say about Cuba. Relationship between Canada and Cuba. Everything is wonderful in Cuba. Everything it's wonderful. And this is ridiculous, and I think it's very disrespectful for anybody around the world to see this. So there's a lot of great areas that I'm not saying, I don't have any proof of anything, but as a Canadian citizen, okay, I do have the right to say I do not agree. So everything that we're doing right now by the social media, it's amazing. They got threatened yesterday when everybody was raising their voices, because this Ms. Bilboa does not represent any woman in general. I mean, if, let's say, practice what you preach. You got me? It's like, if you're saying that the rights and the freedom, and you come in Canada and you're talking for all the women around the world, how dare you not doing it in your own country? You don't respect, you never said anything pro women to protect people in your country. So how dare you come in Canada? They open the doors wide open to you, and you come in here and lie, and then trying to go to Canadian universities to try and say that Cuba and the way of thinking is perfect, and that's not okay, and that's actually happening here, and it's very sad. And I'm sorry, I got very emotional.
No matter, there's no way to talk about this kind of stuff without become emotional, because it's about our lives. I have no clue how someone pretends that we are able to have this concrete interaction, seeing lies day by day against our countries, saying us, okay, we have to put in front our economical benefits in front of the reality of the Cuban people struggling their issues, and sending a lot of promotions, a lot of broadcast fake messages all around the world saying, please come to us. Canada is one of the most important investors in the minery in Cuba. Cherry, it's one of the extractors of the Cuban nickel. Also, we have the situation with the tourism sending to Cuba. Canada is the most important emissary of foreign tourism in Cuba. It means a lot of money to the Cuban government, because there's no independent hotels in Cuba. All of them are handled by Gaesa. Gaesa, it's an economical brand that holds all of the hotels. All of the important funds are economic mates of being able to create something. You can imagine whatever, from a huge thing as a hotel, or a barbecue machine, or whatever you can imagine, a car rents, house renting, all of that is handled by Gaesa. And in that situation, that's what we are dealing with. We are handling a situation against a giant octopus that can take all of the measurements, can take all the laws, can change the laws to put it against the Cubans. But I'm also becoming too emotional. So we have a new partner here. Your name is Jasmani. Jasmani, tell us your impressions. What about you? How are you, my friend?
Thank you so much for accepting me here. And thank you to Rique for this beautiful project. I think the world needs to hear us. Needs the people who don't speak Spanish, they need to hear us, to hear the Cubans in our own voices, with our own experiences, saying what we know about our country. I agree with everything you've said so far. I know about what happened yesterday with the event in Canada. So it's something terrible that someone that comes from a dictatorship goes to a free country to talk on behalf of all the women there, all the Cuban women. That's hilarious, at least. So
It is
I
hilarious
hope
on
there are
the way
some.
that you don't see that they are talking about real people, real lives, and putting us in a position of saying, you're talking about another country.
That's right.
I think there is a big problem with education. There are plenty of people who are university teachers, who are researchers, historians, doctors, and they think Cuba is like a kind of paradise where everyone's happy and everything is fine there. So I think half of them are just ignorant, who haven't read enough. The other half are just dreamers who wouldn't dare to go there to live in Cuba. They don't move to Cuba themselves. They just have the dream, the idea. The biggest problem, those people talk to their students in schools, in every university, and they tell them, look, socialism is the future. This is the best for the world. And students buy that because whatever you put in a student mind, in a 10-year-old, 15-year-old person, whatever you put there, they believe it. They accept it. They say, fine,
because they
my
don't have
teacher
the
says
tools.
that.
Because they don't have the tools to fight against that. Because you're talking to an authority that's represented by the teachers,
Exactly.
by the professors, and then you
They say,
if
my
he
teacher
tells me
said
that,
so.
that's true.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, that's the problem. My teacher
And
said so. It's like when we are told in Cuba, Che Guevara was a nice guy, we said, oh, fine, was a nice guy. Castro was good. Oh, yeah, well, it was good. So that's the same thing. Children believe all they are told.
That's correct. I also want to point out, like, there's these economic ties between Canada and Cuba, or the Spanish
Of
and
course,
Cuba,
there is a company, you might know
Melia
it,
Hotel.
called
Go ahead.
Share It International, right?
Hmm.
This is a mining company, and they have the half
Sí.
of the Cuban nickel
Petróleo.
belongs to that company. The company is called MOA Joint Venture. It's between the company shares the property between the Cuban government, Cuba Nickel SA, and Share It International. So they own and export the half of Cuban nickel. So of course Canada doesn't want to be in bad terms with the Cuban government. Also the tourism, also all the lobsters, the shrimps, food, avocados. Now I've seen it not long ago.
Correct.
So there's trade between the two countries, and Trudeau and all the people in the government, they don't recognize Cuba as a dictatorship. That's the problem.
I think
The main thing you have to do is, this is a dictatorship, and we recognize it as such. That's it. Period. No more to talk about, I think.
I think there is millions of dollars between the reality of the Cuban people and what they need to do or what they need to say to still having this money in economical business with Cuba. That is the point. And in this point, we need to take action. The Cuban people, the real Cuban people who want freedom and democracy for Cuba. That is the big problem now. They have millions in inversions for to buy this false idea that the communism is good or all is good in Cuba. But we need to fight against that. We need to make more civical space in the street. We need to talk with the society. We need to try to make more projects to be with the people, to bring to the people our reality, the real Cuban reality in the Island. I think so.
And
Alvaro,
I
what
want
do you want
to.
to say? Okay, first, can we allow Alba first and then you?
Yes.
If you don't mind, I don't mind at all. I mean, I'm just very inspired, and actually, I wanted to share something with you guys. We're actually in Montreal, Quebec, and when the situation, when all this, the protest for the Black Lives Matter thing was going on, here in Montreal, there was a huge huge, massive protest, pro George Floyd and so on. So the protest was actually located right in front of the University of Lucam here in Montreal. So I'm there with my husband. We're walking around, and then we suddenly came across with this table, okay, which had books, pamphlets, anything you can think of. That was pro Castro, pro Che Guevara, pro communist, pro socialism, and so on, so on. They even have a newspaper, okay, and they do have a newspaper which is made of them. It's the communist community, right, that did it. So when we approached the table, we were like, okay, what is this? What have you guys? What's your goal, right? And at that point, we had the opportunity to speak to a young Quebecer from, he was at the university. He was the only young person. Everyone around that young boy had around from 60 up, okay? And we had an interaction. And actually, what was very interesting, that the old people that were around him, controlling him and who I would say indoctrinated him from whatever age, okay, they were just looking around trying to take him over. They pull him away, and he's like, you know what? He was very receptive. We were explaining to him, and he was like, oh, when my husband asked him exactly what it is that you're trying to do, and his answer was, oh, do you know the Cuban Revolution? And my husband is like, yes, I'm Cuban. And he's like, oh yeah, you're Cuban. Okay, well, you know what? That's what we want to implement here in Quebec, here in Canada. Right away, no, and actually, I would invite you guys. We are actually from Cubanos Canadienses por una Cuba Democrática, Cubans Canadian for a Democratic Cuba. We're actually a movement here also in Montreal, in Canada, and we're doing this. We want to speak about the truth. We want to be able to reach to as many people as possible, and we are 100% with this. With Somos Más, which we believe that is one of the movements that actually has the more impact. Okay, there's Cuban Liberté, there's many different groups. And if you would like, you can visit the page, and this is not to make promotion, that I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I'm just saying you can actually see the I don't know how this works, so I know sometimes people get very touchy with these things, and I just want to say that we're here supporting you guys. You can visit the page, and you will see the video in which my husband had the interaction with the gentleman. It was in French, but it's subtitled in Spanish. So you can actually take a look at it and see the conversation. And at the end to make a long story short, at the end, an old man came across, and he was like, oh, you're telling me that in Cuba there's no food? Are you telling me that in Cuba there's no nothing? I was like, yeah, I can tell you, because I would think I'm from Venezuela, but I think myself as a Cuban as well, because we're suffering the same damn thing that they're suffering, right? So let's be clear about it, right? So my husband and I were, and he was like, oh, I lived in Cuba. I lived 17 years in Cuba. And I was like, well, who did you live? I mean, I worked. I was like, okay, you worked for the Castro regime. You didn't work for the
I was 28. He wants to compare with me.
Well, the what?
I was 28 years there. There's no way. And I want to make clear this point. There's a point of view when you're a tourist and you're there for a while, or with Canadian dollars in your pocket. And there's another reality when you're working there, working for the government and receiving just useless papers. And the same is happening now with the Bolivars. Nowadays, the strong Bolivar fuerte, is super weak. Takes more money to make a Bolivar than the value that it represents. Today I was checking dollar today. That's a secondary market of exchanges of bolivars in Venezuela. And the exchange was over 400,000 bolivars for $1. That's not even imaginable in terms of inflation.
Boys, I have to leave here. Thanks. See you later.
See you later.
I'm gonna steal in production. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you, my dear. Love you. The point with that is the inflation that's facing Venezuela right now is out of the scope. Nobody can even imagine. In terms of percent, we're talking about thousands of percent. My mind is not able to imagine how does it means in terms of mathematics.
Yeah.
And even worse, there's no way they show us a light at the end of the tunnel.
Correct.
What I see is just bad people doing even the same mistakes that put the country in that awful situation, but repeating the same mistake and again and again, because it's not an economical thinking. Put it in first. The priority is to prioritize the political stuff, not even to send us or to put us in the proper path. It's just to do whatever to stay there, and the reduced amount of money that the Venezuela is able to make
Yeah.
is just stealing them, putting them away, and then when the things blows up by the air, then they will have its money outside and living in the in the best world, living the poverty for the Venezuelan citizens. Excuse me for my English, I'm getting nervous on this. Because I'm having a Venezuelan friend, so I don't want to make any mistake. Okay, and look at that, man.
Sorry,
In the
guys,
beginning
I
of
had
this,
to share this.
yeah,
So
of
when I
course. I mean,
was when I was in the United Kingdom event of communist event, they
yesterday,
yesterday they shared this that they have a project that member of parliament in the United Kingdom is going to push for a Nobel Peace Prize for the Cuban doctors, for the Cuban missions that the government, the dictatorship sends abroad, meaning the modern slavery business that the Cuban dictatorship has with Cuban doctors, where they send them to Venezuela, where they send them to Bolivia to destabilize the government. That's why they got kicked out of Bolivia, where they send them to all these African countries and all these poor countries to sell the Cuban propaganda of, solidarity. These people are trying to get that Cuban mission to receive a Nobel Peace Prize. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and with the public, and to make sure that we fight this. We have to fight this. And aside from that, guys, I wanted to also mention something else that happens with this dictatorship, with this regime, and that is the damage that it does to the Cuban society, to human relationships. So, for example, it's not just about, let's say, they control all the mines in Cuba and they sell half of them to Canada. It's not about them controlling all the hotels and they sell all the buildings and the land to the Spanish Meliat chain of hotels. It's also that there are some very like sick Canadians and sick Spanish people that go to Cuba for sexual tourism, and they take advantage of the very poor conditions that our people are in. And there are very young girls and young guys that sell their bodies to these people. And these people, they say, oh, they go back to the country, Cuba's the best. And I did these awful things to these young people, sometimes, a lot of times, underage men and women. For very cheap, they sell their bodies. And these people, they cannot get a relationship in their country for whatever reason, so then they go to our island and take advantage of the hardship that our people are going through, right? They go every summer. You see them. We all know. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to share that part of it. Is the tragedy, and the cheapness that of the morals and the bodies, right? They talk about the persons of colors and their bodies and their trauma. Well, this is actually real. This is what happens when you have a communist dictatorship.
Yeah,
and there's
absolutely. I want to say something. I don't know, Riquet, if you can partage, compartir,
Share.
uh, share, share the something I give you on your messenger.
Okay, let me see what you
Look
sent
at
me.
your messenger. Yeah, it's the embassy Cuba in Canada. Cuba embassy in Canada. Josefina Catalina, se te fue la Catalina, Josefina Vidal. She put it. Friday, last Friday, she
Right.
was to the university, Ottawa University. Look at that. That is
Hold on. You sent
the
that in what, through Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp?
Yeah, Facebook Messenger.
messenger. Alba, I share with you too.
Let me go get my phone. Give me one moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, but we can. I give you. Yeah. Do you?
Oh,
you,
okay.
you
It's a
see?
Facebook post.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
show your
Okay.
phone, Cricket.
Okay, I
Yes.
got you. I'm gonna
I
share it
want
right
to
now.
share it, please. It's in Spanish or French, but this is in Spanish. And look at that. This is the other forma.
The other way.
The other way they go to the young people at the university. Look at that. But I don't know why the teacher permit.
Allows them.
They
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know why
They allow them to do that. This kind of stuff.
yeah, why I don't know.
That's that's a
The
very good
Cuban,
question.
yeah, the Cuban opposition.
Mhm.
We need to go to the university too. We need to share our truth, huh? Because no, in the embassy, Embajada de Cuba, Canadá.
Embajada de Cuba, Canadá. Hold on one moment.
Yeah,
Let me
You
see.
can unshare your screen and then share it once you found the post.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
My point there, it's like the real communists that have been here and all around the world are not in those countries. The real communists are living in these kind of countries with all the resources, with all the possible needs solved already by the society they are complaining against too, but they don't go to those countries to fight for that freedom. Okay,
That is the reason. That is the reason they say they love our communists, our country,
yeah,
because they don't live that.
because it's super easy to use its iPhone to complain about the society that they live with. But let's see what's happened when they have to survive a whole month with $20 on its pocket, when
Okay, so
everything's more than expensive.
Tanya, that is what
Yeah.
that is what I want. I try to say. They has invested millions of dollars in this.
Propaganda.
I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what to say. We need to do the same. We need to do the same.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
the Cuban people, the Cuban society who wants freedom and democracy don't do the same? Why? We need to do the same. We need to be at the universities. We need to be at the streets. We need to give conference. We have a lot of professional people who can do
Yes.
that. Who wants
I want.
a Cuban change. We need to do the same.
I want to say something, Alba. The forum yesterday, forum. I don't know, the last forum yesterday. They pay the government do Quebec pay for that. We can do the same project, and we can ask you for the money because we are the Canadian citizen. We can
Correct.
do the same.
One thing that
Yeah.
I would say when I woke up this morning and I saw a message actually that somebody I do not know the name of the person. I just don't want to assume, but someone who wrote in private to one of the women that was there for the debate, and she actually was threatened. She was told that she was gonna that she didn't have the right to go to a private page, which is not private because you shared the link for people to register. So it's not
Yes.
you actually want people to subscribe to your lie, right? So
Yes.
and she was threatened. She was told that that she had no right to do that. That she should know the laws in Canada. That you cannot go in defamation. That
Mm-hmm.
that she was gonna take her to court because of whatever. What? So many lies and so much stupidness that came out
Yes.
in this message. And I was like, you know what? We do indeed have to do something about it. I had pushed. I wanted to, and I try to promote hashtag for no investigate crisis in Cuba. Hashtag going directly to Justin Trudeau, Francois Legault. There's even Teresa Tam, which is for health. I mean, Canadians, if you don't want to think, look at it in a Cuban way or Venezuelan way or an immigrant way, because it's all about Canada. So why you're not going and protecting your Canadian people from traveling to Cuba? Because right now you're putting them at risk, right? So let's begin by that. If that's the news right now, how come you're allowing them to put themselves at risk going to Cuba? Then bringing it back here in Canada, putting at risk the people that stayed here at home. So let's be clear, there's hypocrisy that we're seeing that's happening and going around. So that needs to stop. And we as young people, and I would say they need to see, yes, what is happening the day to day, but they need to hear young people from Cuba. They need to hear young people from Venezuela. They need
Yes.
to hear the young people here that had to leave that here and in everywhere in the world, that had to leave everything behind and begin a new life because they were not able to live, and they were suffocated, they were suffering. So how come you're opening the doors wide open for a lie and for this it's like a script, right? And every year they give you the same script. It doesn't change. So, and what we keep paying taxes, we're citizens. So definitely as Canadians, and I would say you in the United States of America, you guys have raised your voice and they heard you and they're doing what they have to do. So how come in Canada they cannot support us? How come? Because our
Yeah,
tax money is the one being sent for the for to help Cuba.
I, and you can see that these communists, they work together all over the world. They have a network. Look how they mention again the Henry Reeve Brigade, right? The medical missions, how they're helping with COVID. At the same time that we know that in the United Kingdom, they have a campaign to give them the Nobel Peace Prize. And talking about the vaccines, remember that now Russia is testing vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines in Cuba. So this is all related. This is all connected. And if you
Yes.
think that
It,
COVID-19, China,
yes.
Russia,
Yes. In the
has
in the
nothing
in
to do
the
with
in the
Cuba,
school in Yes, yesterday, no, Friday, the Josefina se te fue la Catalina talking about talking about that Henry, the brigadas Henry, I don't know what, at the students, all is relation, all the things. I don't speak English, but
no.
todo está unido, todo está relacionado.
yeah, everything is
Tratan de meter
united,
toda esa
related.
propaganda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something that I chide Americans about, and that is that they have um, neglected Latin America and especially Cuba. For 60 years, this side of the world has been destabilized, penetrated, turned upside down, inside out by the communist agents that Cuba sends everywhere. I mean, even in Miami, they've caught, I don't know how many
Yes.
spies, 12 or 5 spies, the 5 heroes, I don't know. Like, uh,
Eliezer, estamos hablando inglés, inglés de
right?
palo.
Oye, está bien. Just throw the rocks, as we say. Just throw the. But you know,
But
well, yeah. Go ahead.
forget.
Let's look something funnier. They make no mention of the slavery that Cuban doctors are subjected to be.
That's right.
They make
That's
no
right.
mention of that. You know, we need to do that. We need to be the other side of the history. We need to say, okay, that's good, but in which conditions, live the Cuban doctors who the Cuban government sent to another countries or something like that, they become the 100% of the money, or in which situation we need to do something about.
Guys, we have a new guest here in our show, Mr. Ramon Martinez, and we haven't heard him. So, Ramon, could you share your thoughts with us? Let us know what you think about it. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. So I've been understanding everything except who is Josefina se te fue la Catalina. I don't know what that means.
Josefina Vidal is the embassy to Canada.
I understand.
To
It's
Cuba
a
in Canada.
Josefina
Okay.
Vidal is the same woman who talked by telephone with Fania, and
Yeah.
she said to Fania, the Cuban people who have no connection with the Cuban government have no right to be in the conference with Diaz-Canel. This is this woman.
Yeah, I know Josefina Vidal. Yeah.
So
So
this is the woman.
yeah, I know she was in the conversation between Cuban government and the United States when the Obama's era. So
Yeah.
she's very well known. So
I say she's the la sexta espía, right? The five espía.
Yeah,
She's the
yeah.
sexta espía. Yeah.
The sixth spy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I just want to change. I mean, I'm very, very happy with this English presentation, which is we need it. Even when we're not very good English speakers, we need to do this a little more frequently because we are unknown here. I live here in Orlando, Florida, and we have no expansions whatsoever over the America politics. So the American people doesn't know us. We're speaking in between all the time in Spanish, which is our first language. I understand that. I mean, Cubans, or except if we do this exercise a little more in English, it's great to do it. So, but I just came here. I mean, I'm very close to the Somos Más. I don't know how to say the Somos Más in English.
It's the same.
We are plus. I mean, we are more. So something like that. And yeah, but I just came here to just change the subject on this conversation just for a little bit, and call the attention to all of you and the people who are gonna see you later about the situation that we have in Cuba right now. It's an emergency situation when one of our political prisoner, and which is right now on the hunger strike. His name is Michael Herrera Bones, and he's on the hunger strike since 2 or 3 years ago. He's my friend personally. We are work together for maybe Lazaro, you know the case. I've been insisting in the case of
We know.
Michael Herrera, and what happened now is like a Michael Herrera who has suspended all the Falcon. He's just have passed the favor to another prisoner to tell another members of UNPACU that he started on the hunger strike. Like, I think today Sunday was on maybe 3 or 4 days ago. So this is an extremely urgent situation that all the Cuban Democrats are facing at this moment, because Michael is a HIV patient. He have AIDS, no HIV. You can differentiate. There's Michael, yes. So yeah, the guy on the left is me, but this is Michael Herrera. Thank you for that. He's very, very valiant guy. He's this is the post of Joel Parson, which is his cousin. Michael is incarcerated since last April, and he started on the hunger strike. Like when he started in April, he stayed 10 days. And the health situation of Michael is very severe at this moment, and he is in very serious danger for the deterioration of the health. And I just want to say that to you. I know the thousands of people want to watch this after or maybe at this moment, and I really, really appreciate if you are in solidarity with this, because the health situation of Michael, one of the most valiant oppositors in Cuba, is facing now. It's very, very urgent situation, and you guys, if you amplify this, I really appreciate it. So that's what I want to say. I mean, I can stay here, I can speak a little more with you about any other issue, but I want my Cuban libertarian guy here, Riquet from Georgia. I mean, Jacksonville. Where you live, Riquet?
Right now, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, my friend.
Atlanta, Georgia, my friend.
That's
So
right. Dirty,
I
dirty.
just, yeah. So I want to communicate that there's a small group of people trying to help um, Michael Herrera Bones, and I want to tell you that situation with him is he's in the Winnes prison, Winnes, and I don't know if it belongs to Artemisa or how's the other Mayabeque. I don't know where
I think
Winnes
I think belong to Mayabeque or something like that. I think I don't know.
Mayabeque, yeah. So he's
I'm not
there,
sure.
which is it's a jail just for people with HIV situation. So he's there. He have prohibited. He have banned the phone calls. Can you imagine how cruel is this? And I have all the history because Michael and me, we are friends. We work together. I mean, we work together for this common purposes of all Cubans, that we want a better Cuban tomorrow. So I feel very, very worried and concerned about the Michael situation. And in the day, during all this day, I'm gonna be insisting on other shows like this. And I know you're gonna be very sensible as well, like I'm doing right now.
Ramon, the important situation is that we need to be there for the Cuban people. We need to be there for the Cuban who is having the consequence of fighting against the system in the Islam. We need to make action. We need to take action in medias or wherever. We need to try to still sharing was with Michael. We need to still bring information or actions from Michael or something like that. We can send petitions. We can try to find the way.
And the worst situation would be that doing nothing will help us. The only way we can do things to take actions, to make stuff, to not them to forget this kind of situations. If it's a hunger strike, it's a risk for everybody. Even imagine someone with a compromised immune system. In those situations, everything it's a risk. And with the conditions the jails in Cuba have, I don't want to even imagine to consider how risky it is for the Cuban people, and especially for Michael. We pray for him, and we hope soon this dictatorship will end up, and we can move forward and to make Cuba great again. We have here Leo Javier Hendricks. Want to let you know, and want to know what is your guess about this.
Well, I just came in because I saw. Well, this is the first time that I actually see a Cuban debate in English with Cubans. So that's something that I really
So Alba is not Cuban, Alba is part of the Cuban people.
right. Cubans having a debate in English. That's the first. So that's a really good thing. Since I grew up in the U.S. and most of my friends are Americans. And when I speak to them, they actually are very surprised by all the stories I tell them, because they don't believe half of it. Because whatever the Cuban people have lived in Cuba, it's like science fiction for American, science fiction for Belgian people, like for Europeans, because they don't really understand our experience. So the first thing I want to say is congratulations on actually having this initiative. I think it's actually really nice to be able to speak about the Cuban topic. Sin el cubaneo, sin la gritería, like we modulate differently in English.
Leo, we need to do this conference at the street in Brussels.
Yeah, and another thing about your group. One of the things that is really important is for you to start actually associating yourself with other groups that are from the country. Like, for example, here in Belgium, we have a lot of different groups that are like human rights group. And one of the things that's most important for us Cubans to understand is that if we don't associate ourselves with the groups that are from the country, when we do manifestations and all this stuff, like we're only doing manifestations for Cubans. other. For example, if your group now becomes friends with a human rights organization, when you do a call for a manifestation, those members from those groups can come and support your group. So you guys should have sort of like a section that's like inter-institutions, so you guys can like start associating yourselves with institutions from each country. So when you say, okay, we're going to do a manifestation for this and this and this, those groups are also, you count with them also to come and help you, like, show more support. And I think that's one of the things that we need to really focus on, is actually creating relations outside of the Cuban community. We need to transcend to like American people, Canadian people. And for example, next time that you have this debate, invite one of your friends, invite a friend from, like, for example, if you're in Canada, invite a Canadian to be like, hey, come here and just ask us questions. We want to know what you think. And I think that's going to, like, help get the message more across to different other people. So that's all I have.
Can I have a word on that?
Yes, of course.
This about the inviting part. That's very important. I think we have to invite not only our friends, but people who support the dictatorship in Cuba. We need to find their groups. We need to face them. We need to dare them, to tell them, okay, come and debate with us. We are Cubans. You are wrong. We know the truth. We know our country. You cannot come and tell us how our country is, what's there, what's happening there. So we need to tell them, come and debate, come and talk to us. So those debates, I think, will be more interesting for people, for the public. Yeah, Cubans talking about Cuba, that's fine, of course. But Cubans debating Americans about Cuba, that's important. Yeah, Cuban Solidarity Campaign, yeah, we have to go there, we have to leave a comment. You are lying. This is not right. You're wrong about Cuba. All you know is a lie. And when they start answering back, we'll tell them, come, debate with us. Debate us. Tell us what you think. And we'll just show them the truth in front of everyone. I think that would be a good strategy to debate people, to invite them to come.
Yeah, well, like, you can also like you can also, like, say that tomorrow we're going to speak about why traveling to Cuba is not a good idea, and then invite the people who are in charge in those organizations, and then be like, this is the reason why we think that you guys should not travel there. And then have them be like, but just get a topic and develop that topic, and then just that's the best way of actually getting that message across.
Then I think we have to target Canada. Because Canadians are the people who travel most.
Yeah,
we have to target them.
In Canada, actually, I found I tried, because I was like, okay, before they did the reopening of the flights from Montreal to Holguín or Cayococo, whatever the flights they're doing right now once a week. Right before, when all this thing was going on, I wrote, because I think that we should have the right as citizens to speak to the public, right? I mean, all the groups that have all the different movements in Canada, they go to TV, they can go to TVA Nouvelle, they can go to different channels. They will open the channel for them to express themselves. So I was like, you know what? I wrote an email. I sent a request, because I want to show part of the reality and give a warning. I want them to really, I really want to share the message. And actually, they never responded back to me. They never acknowledged. I've tweeted Trudeau. I've sent the links of a video that was done in French about not traveling to Cuba and the reason, and explain a little bit what was happening. Then nobody ever even acknowledged anything. So I was like, since they don't give us the right or the space, because the right, we have it. Since they don't want to give us the space, well, what is happening right now is, let's take it. Let's take it, because we have the right to speak. We have the right to say our side of the story. In politics, there's the Democrats, Republicans, whatever. Well, here, there's the ones that don't want to defend and protect the freedom of their people. And there's the group of people that do want to defend the rights and protect their people. And that's where all of this comes in place. And I am with you guys 100%. 200%, and definitely this is amazing. I'm super excited, and this gives me hope. A lot of hope A lot of hope.
I think
people,
Fanya's
this
there. You're there. You're very active in Canada. There is another guy. I don't remember his name. Darwin, I think. Darwin.
Darwin.
He as
Yeah,
well
they are very active online. You have to gather at least 100 people, 100 Cubans, and go there in front of any public building and tell them we are here and you are supporting a dictatorship. Tell them.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to point out
Alba,
that
Now,
Wait,
now this
wait.
month,
I want to say something.
this month-
Alba, I think.
There is somebody here talking about Batista taking money from the mafia.
Yes,
Who is
sir.
trade number 7? I
What-
do
what was that?
believe.
this
Sorry?
is even better. This is even better. This is even better.
What do we have here?
Cuba have a free
Okay.
American dog. Yeah.
Let them come in. Invite them
First.
to come in.
Yeah, first, let's put in the link. Then have
Let them in.
debate what we
All
think.
right.
I have
Great.
I have very interesting experience about Canada. I have a son living in Ottawa, Fania. So I visit Canada with my wife several times. So, and you have a strong job to do in Canada. Every time I visit Ottawa, it's like people knows about my accent, our accent. Say, where are you from? Say, I'm from Cuba. So, oh, Cuba, blah blah blah. Okay, I haven't visited my country for 20-something years, and on Ottawa International Airport, I saw just I'm from Santa Clara, so I saw that right flights where my land is. I was born and raised in Caibarien. Caibarien is one of the most beautiful, the North Keys in Caibarien are all these places were developed, and it's full of Canadian all the time. So I saw in the airport just a right flight from Ottawa to my homeland in Cuba. Say, oh my God, this is crazy.
Did they show the price there?
No,
Did they show the price? Do you remember?
No.
Well, I used to work in the tourism in the. Please.
No, I say it was a map. It was a map, and it was a screen there, just showing right flight from Ottawa to to the keys of North Villa Clara.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Yeah.
I used to work in the tourism industry, and they give very cheap options, like for $300-400, like 5-6 days in a hotel, all inclusive. Yeah, that's why many people from Canada, they go every year there, and they said this is wonderful. They stay in a beautiful hotel, nice beach. Yeah. They go around Remedios, Santa Clara, some cities. Yeah, the center, is well kept, is beautiful, it's clean. So they come back to Canada saying, Cuba's wonderful. Cuba's amazing. They love it. They go year by year, and they have even the offers that we Cubans in Cuba don't receive.
Yeah,
I'm struggling with Canadians when I go there, telling the truth, which is no, you're not talking the truth. That's not the truth. I'm from there. I was born and raised in that horrible regime, and they showing just the nice face. But if you go to my hometown in Caibarien and you see the street around, you go to Remedios, but you don't go to Caibarien. It's 7 kilometers away. So I go to Canada to fight Canadians just talking nice things about my country, and I'm not accepted.
They don't believe you. They don't believe you.
They don't believe me. But imagine me in Ottawa just fighting with. I remember a guy in the telephone area. And I was there to fix my son's telephone, and say, "Where are you from?" Say, "Well, I'm from Cuba." Say, "Oh my God, I went to Cuba." Blah blah blah. Several times say, "You sucks, man. You suck." So my wife say, "Oh, stop it." No, I'm very like exciting when I discuss with these people in Canada, because they say you're taking my country. You're invading my country. That's my land.
Frustrating.
It's very frustrating. Yeah.
People, I want to invite everybody to find this petition and change.
Democratic Nations
Under the name Denunciemos a la dictadura cubana. You can find all the information also in English.
Okay.
Does this petition come from Canada, from Fania, and from all the group there? You can find all the information in Spanish, English, and French also.
I
Could you
signed
please
it.
put
I
the
know
link?
it.
Could you please put the link on the comments section so everybody can
Can
follow them?
Can you make, Fania? Can you make that? Denunciemos a la dictadura cubana is the name.
Yes, I want to put the link now.
Okay, for you to know,
can.
this petition is in 3 languages: French,
Yeah.
English, and Spanish. Basically, this is a petition for the democratic countries in the world, for the governments to recognize that there is a dictatorship in Cuba. That's it. Many
I
countries
think that
don't
Yasmani made the
recognize
traduction.
that.
Hey, Jasmani, you have an English accent. Where do you learn your English? In England? Do you live in England, right?
It's the English man.
No. I learned in Cuba.
Where-
I learned in Cuba.
I
You
talk,
learn what
and
in
Yasmani
Cuba?
made the traduction. Super.
So where
I
are you
learned
from,
English
man?
in Cuba. I'm from Cuba. I'm from the Placetas.
You're from
Next to your place.
by your
Yeah,
accent
next to
is-
your place.
So
I just
okay,
wanted
you
to
know,
share this with
Villa
Trey 7.
Clara first, man. But your English
Yeah.
is very United Kingdom accent, something like that.
Oh, probably.
Right.
I don't know.
Tu acento es muy como de Inglaterra.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah, look at Trey 7 over here talking about Luis Posada Carriles. Okay, I just wanted to let him know that this
invite them in. Invite them in.
We have open
Right.
doors.
and free
We have
healthcare
open
in
doors.
Cuba.
Everybody can come in.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
just do a Google search, my friend, and then you'll see all the free healthcare you can get, such as having to cover your children's eyes because of all the roaches infesting the hospitals, and there's so many other things. Yes,
Yeah.
the Cuban doctor that was expelled for having a different opinion over here.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
one of them. I was one of them.
Yes. Oh, so
Guys,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the dictator here, but we are almost in 2 hours of broadcast, and for
All right,
the good health
done.
of the broadcast, I want to keep us on 2 hours. So I want
Good.
to prepare each one of you
Great.
to have a final message not only for the people that are seeing us right now, but also who will see us after the show ends. And I want to hear what's your gasps and what you believe about this experience, and will you be ready to do the same but more focus in a concrete topic, perhaps even shorter, and even invite Mr. Try number 7, so perhaps he can give us
Can
his
you
opinion.
invite them? Can you invite them in, please?
It's
Yeah,
invited. He has a link.
The
The
link.
same that you use. He had the link as you have, and he has to click it
Oh,
and
all right.
come to the Bible with
So
us.
Selling
he
it
doesn't
already.
want to enter. Okay, he
well,
doesn't want to enter
all
and talk to
communists,
us.
they're
All right.
cowards.
I
But
wanna
let me go
make-
first. I have to go to church, guys. So please let me go first. This has been a
Sure,
great
go.
experience. Number one, I love you guys very much, and I want to say that definitely we're gonna do more. Leo, great idea on the topics. I want to leave you guys with this, and that is on October 10th. I'm going to Washington D.C. I'm going to be participating in a demonstration with Blexit, which is the Black Exit from the Democratic Party. So what Leo is saying is
Yes.
correct. You
Very
guys
good.
must. It's good to ally yourselves with people that share your politics, your vision. And that's what I'm doing here on the black side. I'm explaining to black people what happens with Cuba, but I'm also standing in solidarity, ironically, with them because they also want freedom. That community here suffers the same things that we suffer, that anthropological damage that we have, the patterns of behavior that we have. They also have it too, and it is because of the same reason, communism. To us, it happened in a dictatorship, but to them, it happened in freedom, in capitalism, but it happened in the 1930s with the Kremlin, Lenin, the Communist International penetrating the black community and turning it against the rest of America. Okay, so whenever you find, fellow travelers in this fight for freedom in your own respective cities and countries, please ally yourselves with them, share with them what is happening with Cuba, and then also share with the Cuban community, incorporate the Cuban community in the life of that country. Okay, that's my message. I love you guys, and I'll be watching you on the phone when I'm
We
on
love
my
you,
way to
Riquet.
church. Love you guys.
Bye,
I'm gonna
Riquet.
learn French.
So, people, don't
Funny,
move.
I'm gonna do Duolingo so that I can follow you guys in Canada. Okay, bye bye,
Good.
guys.
So, people, we watch today in our platforms in Facebook and YouTube. Somos Más. You and also in Twitter. Somos Más Cuba. You can follow us there, and you can write me to send me recommendations. We wanna still with this idea or with concept or something like that, and all the ideas to make more programs like this will be welcome. Thanks.
Thanks.
Amazing.
If we
Thank you,
I want
Marito.
to say something. Alba, I think we can do this the same, but in
Correct.
French. The same. And but because we can do in French and English too. I don't speak English, but I
Ok,
understand. Huh?
je parle un
Like,
peu français aussi.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Good.
Mari.
yeah.
Good.
Uh-huh.
I'll be happy to go there
No,
too.
pero es necesario,
Yeah.
es necesario.
We're working as well in many different things. We have a little bit of a new perspective and what we want to do, and in terms of how we want to approach people. I think that's what we need to do. It's a union, and I'm saying this in English. It's amazing. I would say I will share it and share it and share it on and on and on and on. We will try to also, like Fania is saying, we're working on the French aspect of it, doing a little bit as a news, como like 15 minutes of reality by pictures and so on and so on, in
Yes.
English, in French, and then from there we'll open the lines and we say come in. So definitely that's something that you have what you guys have done almost with this in bringing it in English. It's gonna boom everywhere because it's not only even for Hispanics, it's for everybody. It's a universal language, so everybody can get it, and it is. Congratulations to you all, and count with us, with Cubanos Canadienses, and everybody that supports freedom for our countries and wants a change. Here we are with you guys, 100%.
So I want to say that thanks Omar, thanks Riquet for this incredible idea. We hope more time like this. And Canadians, you are welcome. Our platforms are open also to help in anything.
Can I just say
Ronnie,
something?
your message.
Leo.
Yeah, just
Just Ronnie
before.
now. Okay, let's sort this out. Leo, you first.
Yeah, I was just saying, I was gonna repeat what Fania said, that it's very important to have the same thing in French. For example, here in Belgium, half of the country speaks French, and especially in France, people are very left wing. So everybody's like mostly socialist. So we need to have this debate also in French, so they can understand why we're so anti the system over there. And then another thing, because I saw that you guys shared how Josefina Vidal was doing a conference in one of the universities. The way they do this is they actually find student groups, like for example, los estudiantes, liberal students or like communist students for this. And so like what they do is they actually contact these small groups within the university. They get the invitation from them. It's not even large groups. And then what they do is they use the university name to then say, oh, University of Ottawa. And it's not University of Ottawa who invites them to speak. It's actually these little student groups that invite them to speak, and then they use the university name. Like, for example,
it happens everywhere in the world, everywhere in every country.
We know, but they say that is the point. They say and at the perfil de la embajada cubana, they say Josefina se te fue la Catanila was invited. Don't they say that? And look at that. Friday, the woman when I speak, they say the Association Cuba invite to Bilbao to was there at this forum. They say that. They say that. we can do nothing. They say that. So
You know, as a group, you can do the same. You can find the groups that most allies to your views, and then you say, you know what, we were invited by the university. If they do it, we can do it.
Let people ask
can do
questions. That's the thing. To have a show and people will ask questions. We will just answer about Cuba.
Leo, when we make something about in Brussels in front of the parliament,
when
we need to do
Do something like this, but in
front of the parliament.
I'm already here, so I'm just waiting for you guys to get here.
They
Si
say-
ustedes vienen, yo voy, ya estoy aquí.
Okay. Ramon,
Europeans.
Ramon, a few words to
Well, I have an amazing experience here in the United States working among the American public. So I'm a nurse and I work in the home health system. And we are Cubans, we are very isolated. That's true. I work 90% of the time with among Americans, Native American families, and what they notice that when they always asking, "Where are you from?" I say, "Of course, I'm Cuban." So, and they don't know nothing about us. Most of the people like Cuba, but they are very lost. And this is not just isolated cases. I've been working for almost 12 years, and among the mostly American population. We need to extend it to the American people. They are very sorrow for us. They're very Americans are very lovely with Cubans. I'm talking about no politics issues. I'm not affording nothing about politics. I'm talking about Americans, North American natives, whites, blacks, Latinos, whatever they are. So we need to do this more because I'm being educating. I'm a nurse, so I do my job first. But any extra conversation about my country, any extra statement about my country, I clarify them. So, but I'm only one just speaking among them for many years, and we need to do this more. So, American population is lost about our small group of population in Cuba, which is just mostly living in the South Florida. Even here in Orlando, there's just, I don't know how many Cubans we are here, but we're just few. And we need to do this little more or more. So the idea is a great idea from Somos Mas. I love it. I'm telling you about what happened with me in Canada. So what happened with me, I'm only soldier here in Orlando, maybe fighting with 3 or 4 more against the true what's happening in the dictatorship, the most longest dictatorship in the Western Hemisphere, but we need to extend them more to the American people for sure.
Thanks, Ramon, and also hashtag Free Michael Herrera in our
yes, please help me
Thanks.
with that, please, guys. So I really appreciate that because Michael is dying at this moment. Michael is
we're gonna
shutting
do that.
down. Michael can be dead in the next 3 or 4 days. He don't stop the La Huelga de Hambre, the hunger strike. So this is an emergency. All you can do for him is welcome.
Send you, please, information. We're gonna still do it. We're gonna still help. Okay, we have a blog with 40,000 people who has contact with this blog. You can send us information. We make everything we can make to help. Yasmani, last word, please.
Ok, me parece que es una oportunidad excelente que los cubanos podamos reunirnos y hablar sobre Cuba, hablar para todo el mundo. I think it's a very good opportunity that Cubans can gather and talk for all the world about Cuba, about what we lived, about what we know about our country, our dictatorship. I think it's a wonderful idea. It shouldn't stop. We will spread it. New times are coming. Nuevos tiempos están llegando. And we Cubans, we are coming together against the dictatorship.
In French? In French? In French?
No.
Je peux le dire en français, si vous voulez.
Okay.
Jasmine vient de
Funny.
dire que c'était une bonne idée, c'était une super idée de cette que vous venez d'avoir de parler en anglais. Nous, on va le faire en français. Parce que les personnes, le monde, tous les citoyens du monde, il faut qu'ils sachent la situation que vit le peuple cubain. Il faut parler de notre réalité, il faut parler de la vie qui souffre les Cubains dans l'île. Il faut enlever le voile de la dictature. Il faut enlever le voile de les personnes qui croient encore dans ce qu'ils disent les dictateurs. Il faut faire ça et pour ça, il faut parler et faire des conférences comme ça, des directs en live. Pour que toutes les personnes qui sont intéressées puissent le comprendre. Même dans la rue, si on trouve quelqu'un, on peut le parler comme ça, le montrer la réalité. Ben, c'est ça. Donc,
Auf Deutsch, Moment. Auf Deutsch, Omar.
Das ist
Moment.
eine gute Idee und für die Leute zu sagen, dieses live und wir müssen dieses machen in alle Sprachen, Deutsch, Englisch, Spanisch und die nächste Mal, wir müssen an sehr viele mehr Leute zu dieses sagen. Schönen Tag und das ist alles für heute.
Dankeschön, everybody. Herzlich welcome. Thanks a lot. Until the next time.
Leo.
Antes de salir, mira, sorry, one of the really important things to do when we're thinking about speaking to other people is that we need to transcend our exile community, because a lot of the groups are doing politics for the exile community. We need to transcend that, and then the way and how we're going to transcend that is getting topics that, for example, are valuable in each country, and then give the Cuban perspective on it. For example, right now in France, we have like the Gilets jaunes, and so we can give the Cuban perspective on that movement, and so they feel enticed to come and talk about their experience, and then we can talk about our experience. But we need to be able to do that kind of work so it can be actually interesting for both sides to come together. So that's very important.
Count on me, guys. Count on me. Yeah. Find me in Facebook. I'm willing to work with you guys. Somos Más. I love Somos Más. Me and I'm a friend with Eliezer, and I don't belong to Somos Más, but I'm there for you all guys. And you need me, just count on me, okay?
Okay.
So this is
I don't belong either, but I
everybody welcome here. This is Somos Más, Ramon. Is everybody welcome here? We are part of this movement. We are part of the human solidarity with the rest of the people, with the rest of the platforms, with the rest of the world. We are Somos Más. We still been with this concept. Ideas, please, to comunicaciones@somosmascuba.com. We still with programs like this. Thanks again. Gracias, Omar. Gracias, Riquet. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.